welcome back. This is Kirsten from JK Fiber Arts. Today I am going to go over some of the awesomeness that I got on my Ireland trip. I had done some research ahead of time. I looked online, I talked to some online fiber people, and one lady in particular who I just love the stuff she does with her Texel sheep had all basically said, get ready for disappointment because there's not a lot of fiber in Ireland, and the fiber is very undervalued. So I still, regardless, checked an empty suitcase, and I was going to fill it with whatever I could find. And that suitcase was packed full when I came back. We explored the northern, well, the central to north part. So if you just cut the island in half, we landed in Dublin, and we did a clockwise tour around. So we headed northwest and went around and then ended up back in Dublin again. And so, we went to Galway and then along the western coast, and we did the Wild Atlantic Way, and we rode bikes on the Great Western Greenway Trail. That was awesome. There was so much awesomeness that I can't even tell that all to you. So we'll just try to keep it fiber related, and at the end I'll just throw in a couple cool pictures of what we did. I had the very first stop was the day we got there. I had been up for, I don't know, a lot of hours because we did the red eye, and we took off at 6:50 p.m. US time, Eastern Standard, and we arrived at like 9:50 or 10:50 in the morning, and we just kept going. We never slept until later that night. So it felt like forever. But we saw everything we wanted to see, and the first day after we landed, we drove to Galway, and that is where I met Sandra from the Irish Fiber Crafters, and she, surprisingly not Irish, she was originally, I think, from North Carolina, and she had moved out there decades ago and had opened a shop in 2019, because then COVID came, so then they reopened, but she was wonderful, and so the very first thing that I did was stop there, and I got this cool bag elsewhere in my travels at some little kitschy souvenir shop, but I couldn't pass it up. Apparently the Wacky Woolies is a big thing over there. I saw tons of it all over the place. So I got this cute little bag, but what I got from Sandra is that she did have some local sheep breeds. This is the Galway sheep, and she has some scoured fiber that has not been processed yet. It's not been combed or carded. So I have this, and this is a coarser fiber, and I'm going to shake all this out and comb it. There's a moderate amount of vegetable matter in here, but it's already been scoured. I don't feel any tackiness to it. At first I thought maybe there was a little bit of tackiness to it, but I feel no greasiness at all on my hands. So I think this is going to be great. I'm just going to shake it out and then start combing. It is coarser, so I think I will likely just use this in some blends. But I am really happy, and I got 8 ounces of this, so I think this is going to be great. And then the next thing that I got from her was a breed that I was not familiar with, and is also, I think it's a Welsh breed, but close enough to being local to the region, and that's called Cllen. It's Clen, but it's spelled L-L-E-Y-N, and she already had some dyed up, and I bought a bunch of these, and this is already a woolen prep, and it's not too bad. This has maybe a tiny bit of lanolin in it, but I think it's going to be fine for just spinning straight from here. I probably will use it in some blends on the drum carder. So yeah, there's not like any, it feels like it has a little bit of lanolin in it, but very little, and it looks very clean. So I love the color, and it is less coarse than the Galway sheep, and I would say it's not next to skin soft, but I think I can definitely do some stuff with this. And I got a whole bunch of these. And then the last thing that I got from Sandra, unfortunately, she was low on inventory because she was due to take a big trip further up north to get a bunch of stuff. But I got some of the custom blend bats that she had made. And that's this. And this is Merino and Wensleydale. And you can see I got a nice cool lock right there. So I think this is going to be really fun to spin, and this feels wonderful and soft. And then the next thing I have, I'm saving the biggest thing for last. The next thing I have is I did purchase some yarn, and this is from Cary Woolen Mills, and these are 200 grams each, and again, not next to Skin Soften. It just says new wool on it. And I do love, though, if you can see, it has very light tweedy bits in it, and I love that. And I'm going to use this to make felted spinning slippers. If you guys have ever noticed, or maybe you haven't noticed, these are my spinning slippers. I love these slippers. And they're still in totally functional order, but I love them so much that I've caught myself now, I walk around in them in the house and everything. So I think I want to make a different pair for spinning and then just have a walk around. So I'll keep these as my spinners. But I hand spun this, felted it. It turned out so great. And my husband loves them too, so I'm going to make him a pair out of the blue. And I think that this is going to be great. These will be super bright, but I don't care. I love green. Any kind of green is good to me. And the final thing, and I have this sitting right here in front of me, some of what I've combed, and I'm going to have the video up for this soon. So the best part of our trip, fiber-wise, was North Coast Alpacas, and it was a small family farm. They're relatively new to alpacas, and they don't do any fiber arts, and they don't do anything with their alpaca fiber. They do alpaca treks, and he had 5 alpacas, and they're a working farm, so that's not their main thing. He's a farmer. He has cattle and a bunch of other animals, but what we went for was the alpaca trek, and it was super fun. Oh my gosh. So I've never been able to like hang out with an alpaca. I usually just get a fleece, or I go to a fiber show and I see them in a pen and maybe I'll feed them. But I was able to walk the alpaca and pet it, and it was so cute. And the fiber that I have here, actually, this is something I just combed. It's like clouds. Oh my, it is so soft. It is amazing. So this fiber comes from his alpaca Lou. And Johnny and Cheryl, who own North Coast Alpacas and own that farm, were wonderful. So we did this alpaca trek. It was my husband and I and our 2 travel friends, Cheryl and Dave, and we each had an alpaca, and we were switching off, except that I forgot to switch off and basically hogged the alpaca the entire time. And then towards the end, I was like, oh wait, do you want to hold it? I was terrible. And then thankfully my husband was very, he understands that I'm a crazy person for fiber. So while I was talking with Johnny, he actually told me that Lou, who was the alpaca that I was walking, was the offspring of champion alpaca fiber parents, and they had his fleece, and I said, well, do you sell it? And they said, no, but I have it right here in a bag. And he gave me the entire alpaca fleece. I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked in the bag and I was like, holy cow, this is nice. And so I double bagged it and shoved it in my suitcase and brought an entire alpaca fleece home. And then immediately upon arrival home, I started washing it. I did check to make sure that you know, I didn't have any risk of like bringing like some invasive weed seed or something that might have been in the fleece. So there was no worries about that. The biggest thing out there is the stinging nettle, and although not native to North America, I did some research, and it's been in North America for hundreds of years, centuries. Somebody else did it long ago, and it's all in the country from Mexico to Canada in North America. So it is wasn't a risk. So I brought the fleece home, I scoured it, and I have that video coming up, but you just have to, oh, it's so nice. and I have a plan to make his wife Cheryl something. But if you ever have the opportunity to be up in the Northern Ireland, UK area, he was in Coleraine, and it was kind of centrally located to everything we were doing. And literally, they were like 15 minutes from where we were staying in Port Stewart. And it was wonderful experience. Can't say enough great things about those guys. So like I said, if you ever are up there and you have the chance, I highly recommend it. In fact, I'll put their website in my little drop-down comments, and I will also put in the information for the Irish Fiber Crafters. Both of them were wonderful. So I came back super happy and fiber-filled, although not necessarily with sheep breeds from Ireland, but I have a lot of alpaca, and I will have that video up to show you how to scour it and comb it. I have barely started processing it. I think I've done like 1.25 pounds so far, and this is all I've combed, which is not much. It's maybe 100 grams. So I'm going to be combing for a while. Oh wait, here's the rest of it. I don't know if you can see it. This is the rest of the first 1.25 pounds or 1.25 pounds. So I'm going to get cracking on this, and I will have a video up with how I do all this, and then I'm also going to do the video of how I spin this. I plan on blending this with a little bit of merino, maybe a little bit of Angelina, and I'm going to 3-ply a small portion of it to make a headband for Johnny's wife Cheryl for their wonderful experience and their generousness, just giving me this really high quality alpaca fleece. So I'm going to get cracking here, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, spin happy. Here is just a bunch of photos from our trip. You definitely don't need to look at them. I took 900, so this is a very tiny sampling. I hope you enjoy some of the photos. Ireland was a gorgeous, beautiful, wild country, and I loved it.